My name is not Mud. It is not Mud. It is Drake Riggs here for The Streak, the July 2024 episode. It is the one and only Primus and Coheed and Cambria from a year ago. How about that? How about that? As the camera just decided to freeze as we're getting the intro. Why did that happen? If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify, then you're just like, whatever. Something got bumped there. The wires got bumped. That happens sometimes. And that is the luxury of not even live podcasting, because this is not a live podcast, but I do as little editing as I possibly can for these these episodes. So bear with me, you guys. But I hope everybody is doing well. Happy Friday, as always. 4th of July release on this one, actually. Now that I'm realizing it. Recorded here on July 2nd, but we're releasing it for the holiday. Just with our bi-weekly schedule here for The Streak. As this previous year of shows, my goodness. Like, it's been so fun going through the first portion of The Streak, and then we get to this part, though, and it is ramped up in a very unique way, kind of throughout the ones since then, kind of starting with this one, with July last year, a full fucking year ago. Very kind of crazy, like I said on the last one, too, that we've caught up to this point where we're talking about July 2024 and July 2025. But yeah, excited to do so. It was a crazy time last year, settling in to having just moved to Memphis, and then all that ensued very, very quickly after that. So as we get to the show rolling, you guys, of course, you know, we always start off, if you're a reoccurring listener, the first songs that we heard from the band or bands for Primus, very easily, very vividly remember this one. And first of all, I just want to say Primus, a band I never really expected to see play. I will say that much. And kind of the story, again, how we got to it was pretty unique. But it was John the Fisherman. And immediately, some of you who are watching this episode for the first time and are not like following the series and all that, and you're just seeing me and hearing me say John the Fisherman is the first song that I heard from Primus, you may have an assumption immediately of what I'm going to say next, which is that was because of Guitar Hero 2. You know, I'm going to be 30 in a couple months in October, so the timing aligns there, right? When Guitar Hero 2 came out, I don't know how old I would have been then, but that was like middle school? That would have been around the early teens. And I think John the Fisherman was the only Primus song they had in there, and I had really yet to discover my love for metal and music in general, really. That was kind of when it was sort of happening, you could say. But John the Fisherman, as it comes on here, nice and timely. I fucking love this song. So goddamn good. It was on Guitar Hero 2, and definitely one of the more difficult ones to play. But plain and simply, yeah, just rocked the shit out of that song on that game. And the rest was history. And then with Coheed and Cambria, easy one as well. You can probably guess, especially from that time period. I do not think that they had a song on, if I could speak, on Guitar Hero 2, but maybe Guitar Hero 3. But Welcome Home, of course, their most popular song. I feel like it wasn't a Guitar Hero. Somebody in the comments, if you watch or listen, let me know. And I'm going to look it up after. I don't want to look right now because this is really kind of a pointless tidbit. But I feel like Welcome Home, something from Coheed and Cambria had to be in. Whether it was Rock Band or Guitar Hero, whatever. These are both going to be, I think, a lot of people my age's first two songs heard by these bands. I would be pretty surprised if not, just because of timing, I guess. Unless you were just immediately ingrained in this type of music from the moment you were born. I don't know. But yeah, so those should not be big surprises, I don't think. But yeah, both absolutely phenomenal songs. And I still get down on this one. John the Fisherman is a never skip. You know, you have some of those songs where they come on, you're like, this always fucking rips. This is always a good time. I mean, Les Claypool, it just doesn't miss that guy. A unique one, a unique cat, which we will further dive into that. But as I mentioned, July, the first full month of being, well, not even actually. The first full month of officially living in Memphis, but I was going to say the first full month in Memphis, but that's not even entirely true partially because of this this concert. So for those of you who are familiar with me and follow the channel and myself and all of that outside of stumbling across this episode and getting upset that it's not a concert or something, which I assume is what happens a lot with the streak. For a little bit towards around this time, the quarter three, you could say, yeah, Q3 of 20, yeah, actually pretty much perfectly all of the third quarter of last year, myself and Tanner, who some of you will know, best friend who I'm living here with right now, still in Memphis for another month in terms of current timing speak. We got into the card business, right? So we got into doing some Pokemon card stuff, and my goodness, it's already been such a while that I know there's a term like card breaks and stuff. That's what I was looking for. It slipped my mind. I haven't thought of the terminology in it's been like 8 months now. 8-9 months since like early October. Yeah. It's been a while. So I haven't used the terminology. It's been slipping, but we were into doing some Pokemon card stuff on TikTok, and that all started July, very shortly and quickly after we moved across the country to Memphis. So the backstory on that, which I don't know if I've talked about this publicly, so here you go. I think maybe, but it doesn't matter. We'll tell it again. Of course, that's the whole point of this show. It was like probably 2 weeks. 2 weeks after Tanner and I had been living here in Memphis, and one day he just comes into my room and he asks me, like, would you be interested in selling Pokemon cards? And I'm kind of just like, expand, please. Please go on. Gonna need more info than that. Just kind of something very vague like that. I'm just like, what does that mean? And this is just kind of how we talk sometimes. Especially me, I do that a fucking lot to people in my inner circle, and those of you will know how annoying it is when I give my mother in particular hates when I give the just flat out least amount of detail possible. So he hit me with one of those redirects, I guess we could call it. And so we talked about it, and he was saying that one of our childhood friends from high school, his wife's brother's best friend, if I'm remembering correctly, that was the tree That was the tree of connection there. Wife's brother's best friend has been into the card scene like his whole life, right? Like sports specifically, right? Because that's obvious one right there. Which has been like a 20-year thing for him, yada yada, all this. And he asked our friend one day, like, yo, I'm thinking about maybe we should jump into the Pokemon card side of things. Do you know anybody who like could do that, is interested in that? And the first people that came to mind for him was us. So then he talked to Tanner about it and kind of laid out how real of a thing it was, because immediately Tanner kind of tells me all this, yada yada, and I'm like, I don't know, that doesn't sound, I don't know, you just kind of have your what's the word I could use here, what I'm looking for, not too good to be true, but it kind of, you know, you're not suspicious, but just I can't think of the way to describe this. You know what I'm trying to say, though. You're just not fully, and you kind of need more, right? See, I need to see it to believe it. So perfectly, then he said, "All right, well, yeah, come take a trip back. Come take a trip back. See the warehouse where all the business is done, all the cards are, all the streaming." In I think it was, I don't want to say Gresham, but it was somewhere in Oregon, a little bit around / slightly below Portland, right? But back home. So we're like, all right, fuck it, sure. I mean, this sounds pretty sweet. Let's take a trip. Let's go back home already. So it's like less than a month, we already head back home to get in on this business and see how everything's working and all that. And so we're back for that week of July 14th to, when did we go back? To the 20th, the 14th to the 20th. So that whole week there. So yeah, we left. It was about a full month we had in Memphis before going back to visit, just to visit, right? But coincidentally, also that same week, the 19th, was our other best buddy. Shout out to my main man, Joseph. His birthday is on the 19th, so that is coming up here again right now at the time of recording. And we had already, I think somebody else's birthdays were nearby and all that, and we saw that, oh shit, Primus and Coheed and Cambria, two bands that, you know, many of us all very much love, one maybe more than the others. They're playing tough fucking gather at the McMenamins Edgefield venue in, as you can see on the screen here if you're watching on YouTube, Troutdale, which is kind of, you know, north, what would it be, northeast of Portland. And so we're like, all right, yeah, fuck, I didn't have a concert yet for July. We were going back and wanted to do a big birthday celebration, get all the boys out there, get the tickets, all that. So we did it. We bought the tickets, and that's how we ended up there. It all aligned with some new business ventures in the Pokemon card scene world, which is an insane world, mind you. And I guess I'll get to the stories of how that all played out. I didn't even think about telling those when getting to this part of the streak, but I mean, sure, they could apply. We can talk about them, I suppose, when the time comes, when it makes sense in the coming months of the streak. But that was also the same, the first week as well. Shameless plug here for, that was the first time I spoke to Casey Carlson, the lead singer of Deadlands. Phenomenal band. I will shout them out any chance I can, and shout out Casey any chance I can. She is wonderful, an amazing human, and an amazing musician. Go, and they just dropped a brand new EP, 7. So definitely check that out, you guys. And check out the interviews that I've done with her in the past. I think we've done 3 or 4 now since then in this past year. But yeah, the first one I did with her was almost a year ago now. It was during this week of the trip back home. And I did it from the warehouse down there, which was kind of funny to see in hindsight and all that. But shout outs to her. So, all right, let's get to the show now. Kind of just an interesting day that Friday, right? Like, it was a pretty long week because I was still working my normal shifts as I always. I take off as little time from work as I can, just because that's how I'm built. Joking, but I just try to take off as little time if I can work, I'm going to work is kind of how my mind goes. So I didn't take off any time from work. Still did my Mania and my Mania shift and the morning report at the time when I was with Fox throughout that week. So I was kind of doing double duty, doing that while learning and seeing all the ins and outs of the card stuff. So it was like fucking. Once we got to Thursday and I had wrapped up, it's like, all right, whew. I'm ready to relax. Let's chill. Let's see what this show is going to be like. And I had always heard of how McMenamin's Edgefield was and like what it looked like. It's a big outdoor concert venue, very popular, famous one. A lot of big names have been there. I know that much. Like, I know Robert Plant has performed there. Like a lot of. I'd have to look at the history. I'm not just gonna throw people out there, but I know that they've had some very big names, and I've never been there. So it was kind of, I guess, made sense. During the summer, especially during the summer, they have a lot of big shows for Primus and Coheed to roll through, which again is just such a unique combo that I would not have expected, but was very pleasantly surprised to know that they were getting together and then to go see them. But we're down, Tanner and I, and our buddy who helped with the cards. I think it was just the 3 of us. Yeah, how did we go about it? So we were down in Gresham at the warehouse, get done doing our kind of work stuff for the day, drive all the way back up to Vancouver area, kind of get some stuff. Yeah, do a little pre-gaming. Then we go pick up Joe. Yes, Tanner and I went to go pick up Joe, and then we went there. Then we met with the other guys, and everybody's kind of met there from there. And sorry for the... Is that my calendar? I don't know why that... I turned notifications off, but that's now on the episode, so that's great. So yeah, we were organizing and trying. Everybody's getting off work on the Friday. We're ready to go. All right, let's fucking get it. And on a pretty hot day, I think it was like probably a nice, crispy Pacific Northwest mid-80s on that day. It was a warm one. I do remember. And pick up Joe. We get there. Again, I had never been there. Tanner had been there, thankfully. So he helped me with what to expect. And we get there, and it's like you get to a certain point where you're close enough to the venue that you're starting to see the line of the cars, and you're like, oh god, this is actually a parking nightmare, isn't it? One of those cases where I see this in hindsight, a situation like this where, all right, honestly, you're fucking best off probably parking somewhere relatively close that you can. Like, even if it's, let's say it's a 20-minute walk or some shit, something that's unreasonably reasonable, if that makes sense, but a distance, and you're like, I'm not even gonna fucking bother with the parking there. I'm gonna park somewhere that's okay, and then I'll Uber from there to this like tiny let's say it's a 5-minute drive or even less than that, but the walk is long, you know what I mean? Because, yeah, it was like traffic jam-packed. We got there to a point where there was another, what is it, Gorilla Toss? What was the other band? Let me see. Gorilla Toss was the other band who I've never heard of and still never heard. Completely missed their set. Not because, like, we missed the whole thing before we got in, but, you know, had to get through the traffic of the parking, find a spot, get that locked down. We go on in to the venue. Awesome place, like, beautiful. I think when I'm back home, I'm going to check it out when it's not busy like that, because, you know, it's just kind of a big festival nightmare of sorts is kind of what it feels like, and you can't really get the full feel and scope of everything. But seemed like a really cool spot that I understand why is so famous for the region. But we get in there and everything. And then you got to get through the gate, right? Which takes its time in general. And getting through, really, the line of madness that was going on. So then we get in, though, and it's like, all right, they don't let you ever bring in any liquids of any kind, which... fucking honestly, here's a big gripe. Here's a big gripe that I'm going to lay on you guys for live shows. Specifically, and I think that this is stupid for fucking any concert of any kind, because number one, of how hot that it gets in rooms with a lot of people, right? But during the fucking summer, like, this is just a fucking scam to not let people bring in water. Especially if it's clearly water. Like, if it's a fucking big bottle that you can't tell what's in it, okay, sure, maybe that. But if it's clearly fucking water, let people bring it in, man. Like, give me a break. Give me a fucking break. That shit pisses me off. But, of course, they're gonna scam and milk, and then you gotta go inside and pay, like, $7 for a water. People are gonna die. Not really, but it is a health hazard for sure, especially in the heat like that. Anyway, mini rant over. But we get in, and I'm fucking, you know, sweating before we're even in the show, right? Just already damp as hell. And so let's get some drinks, right? All right, we need some more beer now. Let's get in there. And the line for the beer was just insane, too. So we get in, and then get in line to wait to get drinks. At that point, it's like, all right, give me a double shot of Crown and Coke or whatever it was. A double shot is something I remember getting. I didn't get that fucked up, okay? I know how it's sounding. But get in there to this to go get that. And by the time that it took, like, the set for Gorilla Toss was ending when we started. And then by the time we got our drinks, Coheed had gotten, like, I want to say halfway through their set. Maybe a little bit before halfway, but we missed most of it because of the line. So that was a goddamn bummer. But then we go down there, meet up with the rest of the guys after we grab our drinks. And yeah, like, they were great. Coheed fucking killed it. They were awesome, of course. Those guys are incredible. Fantastic performers, fantastic musicians. Super sick to hear them play. The problem with, and I feel like this might be, I guess it really depends, because I'm thinking to the August show now, but something about certain outdoor venues, kind of like that one too, and maybe the combination of these bands, I don't know, but, like, I don't know, the crowd was not very good for Coheed. They just weren't really into it, you know. It was kind of like a big park, and everyone's out there doing their thing, because Edgefield, it's just such a open space. Everyone's drinking. It's super hard to describe, all right? If you've been there, you know what I mean, but, like, the crowd was pretty disappointing for Coheed. They weren't super into it, because I think it was much more tailored to Primus. They were very much there for Primus once Primus came out. Yeah. I mean, it was a little dusky by the time that they got out, but a lot of older people, you know, who had lived through the peak and prime, the prime of Primus, you could say. But yeah, Coheed was great. They were awesome. Super fun time. Just hanging out with the boys too to see a show like that. I think that's the most people that I've been to. The most people I've been with to a show, I think, ever. Yeah, we had about like 6, 7 of us in total, like in our group. Then whittled it down, you know, as the night went on. But Primus comes out. Fucking great. But very quickly, like again, I like Primus a lot, but if you haven't listened to a lot of their catalog, I think you might not realize how kind of abstract and weird that Les Claypool really is. I mean, as we can hear with the Valley, but like a very weird, unique, psychedelic music. Like a lot of the tie-dye flashing shit going on in the background, and like there was definitely a ton of people tripping out and on shrooms and having a good old blasty blast at that show, as you probably should, honestly. But we weren't, so it was kind of like, it wasn't bad, it was just kind of funny. It turns into people watching at that point, but everyone was very much into it. And you know, we were having a ball just kind of in our own pocket of the area, right? Like, it's such a spacious venue that you do have space, and it's a little bit better to have people there. Like, I don't think I would have enjoyed that show nearly as much if I was alone, unless I was down in the pit, which if I was alone, then I definitely would have been, but we kind of, you know, got a group package and all that. But yeah, I mean, they were great. It was super cool to see them. And again, one of these bands I never ever thought that I would have got to see, which is, you know, we've had a couple of those now, and especially the next one that I will get to has a great story to it on the August one. I keep teasing that one, don't I, on these last 2 or 3 episodes. But the biggest disappointment here, though, there was a big problem. There was a very big problem with the show, and it's a personal thing. Let me preface that, but Tanner again was, you know, saying how, I mean, it was a nightmare to fucking get in that place. So getting out of it, we're like, that's going to be a problem too. All right, that's going to be a problem. So the later it goes, we're like, we're going to get fucking stuck here. It's going to take a while to get out, especially, you know, when you had to go park in the parking lot pretty deep because of the time we got there and all that. But my 2 absolute favorite songs by Primus are John the Fisherman, as we already talked about, and Tommy the Cat. Of course, another, I mean, absolute classic banger, one of the very best. It's up there with My Name is Mud, you know. But let's just say those 3. John the Fisherman, Tommy the Cat, and My Name is Mud. They didn't play any of those songs. It's like, bro, the only ones I really cared about wanting to see. Could have gone without everything else. Everything else was fun and whatnot, right? But we ended up leaving early because we're like, fuck, I don't know. They're not getting to them yet. And we get to a point in it where it's like, all right, check the set list. Check the set list, FM. What have they been playing? Turns out Primus likes to mix up their set lists a lot. Like a lot of bands these days will kind of stick to pretty much the same formula, the same set for the tour that they're on. But then, like 2 days go by. You know, obviously Tanner and I go back to Memphis. I check Setlist FM again. The show after, here in Spokane, that you can see on the screen, they played Tommy the Cat and fucking John the Fisherman the day after. It's like, fuck you guys, come on. This is bullshit. You couldn't have played them for us. Unbelievable. So yeah, that was very upsetting. And let me see. I want to double check here because I They might have actually played My Name is Mud at this show, but again, all I really cared about, I'm checking here, was Tommy the Cat and John the Fisherman. Okay, so they closed. They closed with My Name is Mud, so we missed that one. I was like, fucking, of course, they still played at least one of like the top 3. So that was lame, man. That was a bummer. But then let's see, I'm on Setlist now. So then the day after that, yep, played Tommy the Cat. Played Tommy the Cat the day after. I guess no John the Fisherman, but still, it's like, come on. I would have loved to see that one live. So again, it was an overall great experience, but really kind of less so from the music aspect of it. Again, still great, but just like disappointing in circumstances, I guess you could say. I don't know. I don't know. It was a trip, literally, in every sense of calling something a trip. That is what that week and that show in particular was. And the only time that I've been at McMenamin's Edgefield now. The only time. So we'll see if that changes. It depends on who goes. I'll check it out. It depends on who goes, though. So, yeah. That is pretty much the July 2024 installment of The Streak. I'm still angry about the water now. Still very upset about the water. But happy birthday to Joseph for that one. Good times. They're celebrating. It was fun. It was a very, very fun time. I definitely recommend, like, I think it is worth seeing a show there just for kind of that fun experience, aside from the lines and stuff. But, like, it's a nice atmosphere, okay? you can tell I'm really trying to devil's advocate it. Nowhere near my favorite. And again, if you're alone, kind of fuck that. Kind of fuck that place for a big concert. But you definitely, it's 100% a place where you need somebody. You shouldn't go to a show there alone, I don't think. So I'll try to avoid that in the future. But yeah. But all right, you guys, another clean, tidy, near 30 minute mark as we close with Tommy the Cat. Perfect. I swear I didn't plan that. But this song is so goddamn good. Just a joy. So, for the next installment of The Streak, it is the August 2024 edition, and it will be another legendary band. What a summer. The summer of 2024. What a summer it was. We're trying to match it with 25 here. We're doing a solid job so far, but August 2024, we had the Foo Fighters, you guys. The Foo Fighters. And what a month August was. There's a lot of stories attached to next month's episode. Oh boy, that was a month. So I'm tentatively excited, I guess, to talk about it. I am excited. A lot happened. It was all good. Everything was good. Crazy, but good. Man, I'm getting the wheels turning here now. So look forward to that one, you guys. I appreciate you all so much for tuning in. Again, if you make it this far, then you're a true fan, and I appreciate you so much. You know where to follow me at DrakeRiggs_ on Twitter and Instagram. Follow Uncrowned for all your MMA needs if you're into that, and subscribe to the channel, like, and all that good stuff. If you just want more, kind of some vlogish stuff, some video game stuff, music, fighting. I guess I got a pretty good wide variety of things going on the channel right now. So if you want any doses of those things, I got you. I got you. Otherwise, I just appreciate you going through the time machine with me. So on that note, you guys, stay safe and stay sane. And I will see you in 2 weeks for that August 2024 story time. See ya.
Do you wanna lay down with me? Say, baby, do you wanna lay down by my side? Baby, do you wanna lay down with me? Say, baby, do you wanna lay down with me? Say, baby, do you wanna lay down by my side? Baby, do you wanna lay down with me? Say, baby, say, baby. Say, baby, do you wanna lay down with me? Say, baby, do you wanna lay down by my side? Baby, do you wanna lay down with me? Say, baby,